Graham Howerton. I'm the president of the FEI Group, and I've been with the company for 21 years.
My name is Amy Foster. I am the Vice President of Flooring. In my role on the accountability chart, I'm the Vice President of B2B. I have been with FEI now for just a little over 2 years.
My name is Brian Penabed. I'm the Senior Vice President at FEI Group, and I've been with the company for about 10 years.
I'm Max Holland, and I am the Vice President of Operations at FEI Group, and I've been with FEI for 5 years.
The FEI Group is an independent contractor network, and today we cover 6 different business segments, and we focus on the independent entrepreneur. Before EOS, we were very entrepreneurial, which also meant that we ran the business a little bit on the fly. So we made decisions together, but no real structure, no formality to how we ran the business. We did a lot of intuition, a lot of feel. We knew what needed to be done, and we just managed the business as things went along.
You know, when I came to FEI Group, the thing that I've recognized immediately is that we had been successful for a very long time, and it was really just because of the people that we had in place. And it came from the years of institutional knowledge that each individual had. And there was no frustration in that, but the frustration was that we weren't necessarily doing things as a team and for the right reasons. We weren't really focused on where are we trying to go, what's our destination, and what are the most important things we need to be working on individually. We just kind of had an attitude that, hey, this is how we do it around here, and this is how we've done it here for 28 years.
I met Max about 3 years ago, I think it was, at Surfaces. We were introduced, and we actually sat down out in Las Vegas and met for the first time, where I introduced him to EOS. At that time, FEI was going through a lot of changes. They had just lost their founder. They were parting ways with one of their owners. Max was coming in to help facilitate a lot of the new change. Graham was also on board, and so there was a lot of chaos and rebuilding necessary. I remember in our first 90-minute meeting, it was Brian, Allison, and Max. They went through 2 more 90-minute meetings just to be sure, but as they really were processing through all the changes and challenges happening in their organization, they ended up coming back to EOS. Max would call and say, we're ready, but we're not ready yet. And so finally, after a year of that, they jumped in, and I can't tell you what a tremendous difference I've seen that team just absolutely change in the most positive direction.
Yes, took a little longer for me than maybe the rest of the team, which I hear about from time to time. But as our business grew and grew rapidly, not only our total membership numbers grew, but we began to get into different market segments. So we went from 2 divisions to 4, and then 4 divisions to 6. And our total member count more than doubled in that same time period. So it became really apparent that we couldn't do things the way we always had. We couldn't run the business the way we always ran the business, that things needed to change, and we needed structure, and we needed a system to help us run the business in a better and more efficient way.
Well, EOS, from the perspective of how we operate, has changed everything that we do. Not necessarily it's changed everything we do, but it's totally brought true accountability and focus in the areas of the business that are going to make the biggest impact, and that we all are on the same page. It's just given us this great visibility to being on the same page and making sure everybody's working on the things that are going to make the biggest difference or the biggest impact.
I would say the biggest difference for me with EOS has been the L10s and the rocks. And I would say the L10s because it creates an environment for my team, and that sharing and the openness, and just I feel like it's helping team building and camaraderie with the L10s. So they've been that's been a win in my book, just to know weekly that meeting's on the calendar and the team can, they can feed off of each other, share ideas, and learn from each other in those L10s. And then the rocks, I think, cause you to focus. They cause you to focus on those big boulders and the big wins each quarter that, hey, if I can get these 3 things done, I'm gonna have the best quarter ever, or it's gonna be amazing, or imagine if I did all these items and knocked them out, how great would that quarter be, not only for me, but for the team, and how it just helps with everything. So those are the 2 big ones on my end.
I think the most tangible result for us would be the clarity around our structure of meetings, the clarity around the topics that we need to IDS, the clarity around the individual L10 team meetings as well as the leadership. It's just really brought a lot of that clarity to us so that we can better run what our business looks like.
Now our team is, I already said this once, but accountable. We also now clearly have alignment around the organization and what those biggest priorities are, looking at our 10-year and our 3-year and our 1-year, and making sure that everybody in the organization is aware of that. I think a lot of companies think that they're clear on their vision, but casting that vision throughout the organization can be a challenge. So in other words, if you asked your leadership team at your company, do you have a vision? The answer would be, absolutely, we have a vision. But making sure that everybody within the organization has clarity around that vision sometimes can be a big challenge. And I'd say our team now is just wildly focused on the vision and that we're all aligned to that vision.
Mel was an easy and apparent choice in my mind. While things may have taken me a little longer to come around to related to EOS, what was clear is that she was the right person for our team. She fit well with who we are and how we operate. And one of the best attributes Mel has is she keeps you on focus, and she makes sure that you're saying the things that aren't being said. That's really helpful in any business, but it was especially helpful for us.
Working with Mel has been such an asset for our company. She really pushes us as an organization to talk about the important topics in the room. She often says to us, what's the elephant in the room? What are you not saying that needs to be said? And that kind of dialogue really pushes us to be a better organization. Her no bull kind of personality is exactly what we need, because we have a lot of strong personalities in our leadership team. So working with her has really brought out the best in all of us.
The most rewarding part of running on EOS for me has just been working on all the different teams. I'm a part of our leadership team, so we have L10s every week for that team. I have my team that we run those meetings. So just seeing and being on the different teams, the different L10s, working with our implementer, I think it's very cool to touch all different facets on the business, and EOS kind of allows that in a focused way to say, hey, you're working with this team, this is what we're working on now. We're working on this, we're in these meetings or these L10s, and now these are the priorities here. So I think it's all the different touch points and how EOS helps to organize everything and put it all structured that, hey, you can chop up yourself into different areas, but create successes that help the company at different levels.
The most surprising part of the process for me is how everyone adopted and adapted so quickly all of the strategies within EOS. Our L10s are running smoothly. We're really talking about the most important aspects of our business. Our teams feel energized. Our teams feel connected. I think just how quickly everyone adopted that was the most surprising part of the process for us. And I thought it might be what we would struggle with the most, but just being able to really navigate through that so quickly has been a great surprise.
So if there was another business owner that was considering EOS and they were hesitant, I would just say, do it. It's as simple as that. You've got to trust the process. It looks like it's going to be complex, and that your organization might not be able to handle it. But the truth of the matter is, if you trust the process and you go through it, it's going to be transformative for your business. I truly believe that. I also know some business owners that have tried to implement on their own and go with their own, thinking, hey, we can implement EOS on their own. It's simple, and the process is simple, but it's not simplistic. You just have to trust the process, move forward, don't hesitate, and do it.
The one word for me would be rejuvenating. And why do I say that is I've been with the company for 10 years. You know, we've had changes in leadership and all things over the years, but you dive into EOS and it kind of, I say rejuvenating because it takes you to that you're working on your business instead of sometimes you get caught in that phase where you're just in the day-to-day grind and you're just working in it and going after it, and there's only so many hours in the day, and EOS kind of elevates you to take a look from a higher perspective down. So that's why I say rejuvenating, because it gives you almost like a whole new energy and feel for your day-to-day that you know, now it just takes you to, wait a minute, let's take a step back. So, and just look and survey it all. So for me, rejuvenating.
I think my one word or phrase for EOS experience would have to be humbling. I think we all thought we were doing better than we were, and this was really an eye-opening experience for us. The visibility of where we needed to quickly make changes and to grow was really humbling. So all of those pieces have just kind of started to roll up into where we're becoming a stronger leadership team, which means that travels downstream and our teams are becoming stronger. So we really had to dig in and expose where we weren't doing great strategies to really get to where we are now.
The phrase I would use, if it was just one word to describe it, would be clarity. You know, my dad always said that if there's a mist in the pulpit, there's a fog in the first pew. And that is so true in business as well. Sometimes you think you've got a real clear vision, but this just brings true clarity and alignment across the entire organization.
EOS came at the right time, and it was the right tool for our team. As the FEI team grew, as our membership grew, as our business market expansion began to really flourish, we needed something to help us stay organized, stay focused, stay on task, and keep all of our goals in mind with every decision we make. So it was a perfect fit for us. Came along at exactly the right time, and so far has delivered everything we hoped.
I think I'd like to take this minute just to say thank you to Mel. Her guidance on this EOS navigation process has been unbelievable. I came on board with FEI just 2 years ago, so I came in right when we were starting to talk about bringing EOS on as an operating system. So I didn't know FEI prior to, but as we've navigated through EOS and some of the obstacles, challenges, opportunities that have come out of it, makes me realize that operating under EOS has really changed FEI for the better. So without her coming to us and working this process out, then I don't think we could be the strongest FEI that we are for our members, and our members see it and our members feel it. So just really grateful to be involved in this process from the very first start of the day of EOS operating system.
Our implementer, Mel, has been great to work with. For me personally, I come from the kitchen and bath background. I've branched out into other fields, but Mel has that background kind of too. So she's got flooring, kitchen and bath background, so she can kind of relate to our business. So I think that's been a win in picking the right implementer, that she had experiences on our side of the fence. So she can kind of talk our lingo too, which has been kind of cool. And then what I would say about our team, I think across the board, our entire company has embraced this from day one. And if EOS is going to work for you and your team and your company overall, you've got to go into it with open arms. And we have done that. And it's kind of cool to see that like everyone has just dove head first in because they realize the value of this. So that's been kind of fun to watch and experience, and actually be a part of it too. Because for me, I jumped in and I was like, hey, I think this could really help us and focus us. And it sure has. And if somebody asked me, hey, EOS, would you do it? I'd say, yeah, make the investment in time and money to go do it, because it really changes your path.
My experience with Mel has been absolutely fantastic. As the integrator of the company, I would say that it's really hard to be the implementer for a process like EOS and wear the hat as integrator in operations for the entire organization. And having a third party come in it's critical for this process to work. And Mel, what I would say about her is that she has a maverick personality, straight from Strength Finders. I mean, she lives that maverick personality out so well with us. If you want somebody that's not going to come in and challenge you, and it's not going to come in and make sure that you're focused on the right questions, or you're talking about the things that need to be talked about, then I wouldn't go with Mel. But if those things are important to you, if you want to challenge your leadership team, if you want to challenge your entire organization, Mel is fantastic, and she plays that maverick role so perfectly for us.
From the energy that's in the room with the leadership team, to the collaboration, to how they lean into hard conversations, I'm very grateful for FEI. It was one of those clients that I did not expect. They were from the same industry as me, so there's a lot of synergies there. I've learned just as much from them as they have from me, and it's just been very, very cool to see all of the success points, whether it's from the team health, how they're instilling discipline and accountability and holding themselves accountable, right? Their vision, their strategic plan being laid out, followed, their rocks every single quarter, increasingly getting better and better, delivering on strategy to the results. It's just been a tremendous team to watch go through this, and they have so much more to learn. I know Max and Graham always kind of give me a smirk about that, but it's a lifelong process. They know the tools. They've been rolling it out to the team, and just to see the impact and the difference, and again, just the team come to life together has been an absolute pleasure to work with.